Their main target, the Israeli Prime Minister. The participants of the march are calling on the Israeli authorities to refocus on such issues as health, education, salaries and housing. The gathering, called Israel Wants Change, is being held just over a week from Israel's parliamentary election, which could lend Benjamin Netanyahu a fourth term in office. Well, for more, let's get some perspective from Gabriel Sassoon, a foreign communications advisor to a deputy speaker of Israel's Knesset. Welcome to the programme. Many Israelis are concerned over their government's role in last year's bombings in Gaza, settlement expansion and also heavy-handed crackdowns on Palestinian protesters, amongst other things. How successful do you believe the government has been with these issues?
Oh, there's many areas of agreement. I mean, one of the things that's not going to change in terms of Israeli policy under any new government is the Israeli policy on Iran, and a nuclear Iran would be completely unacceptable to Israel. But there's no doubt it's been 9 long, hard years under Netanyahu, and Israelis are hungry for change.
Many in Israel say the upcoming election is fundamentally about the economy, not about politics. Are people simply fed up with the Prime Minister's vision of external threats, as you just mentioned, Iran?
Yes, well, that was part of the disagreement that the opposition had to Prime Minister Netanyahu's speech in Congress, that he was using it as an electioneering effort, effectively using the congressional podium as a campaign stump domestically. And I mean, this is part of the way that Netanyahu corrals support for himself by summoning up these external threats. Now, those external threats are certainly real. But there's no substantial difference in many ways between how the opposition would handle Israel's security and how Prime Minister Netanyahu does. But you're absolutely right. Socioeconomic issues. There was a poll done last week which showed that 56% of Israelis will vote on socioeconomic issues, and the closest issue after that on which Israelis will base their vote was security issues on 27%. So you're absolutely right to say that it is about socioeconomic issues, this election.
And just to continue on an aspect you mentioned there, polls say Netanyahu's party is still behind its main election rival, despite his anti-Iran speech at the US Congress. Why is the issue that's labelled existential for Israel failing to woo supporters, do you think?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch you. Why is it so?
Because what is happening, it's being labelled existential for Israel. It's such an important issue. Why is this speech, etc., not getting more support among people in Israel for Netanyahu's party?
Well, it's interesting that you say that. I mean, Netanyahu's party currently has 18 seats out of a 120-seat Knesset. Over the years, the Knesset, the Israeli parliament, has become ever more fractured. Yeah, we've been following the polls over the past few days. It's not reaching the Israeli public. I mean, Israelis understand that Prime Minister Herzog, as Prime Minister, Isaac Herzog would protect Israel's security in precisely the same way as Prime Minister Netanyahu. I think Israelis saw the speech as a political effort, effectively, and the polls are showing that. I don't think it's going to provide a huge bump. Largely, you ask why. I mean, it isn't a huge threat to the state of Israel. Nuclear Iran is unacceptable to the state of Israel. But Israelis understand that a government under Herzog and Livni would protect Israeli security in precisely the same manner as Prime Minister Netanyahu would. Again, it's interesting to note, I mean, foreign viewers would not be particularly interested in these economic issues, but it's interesting to note that where the fundamental differences are on foreign policy, such as, negotiations with the Palestinians, it's just fascinating to watch an election being held on socioeconomic issues that are going to so profoundly affect, relations between Israel and the rest of the world.
Yeah, very important time coming up indeed. Well, thanks very much for coming on to RT International. Gabriel Sassoon, Foreign Communications Advisor to a Deputy Speaker in Israel's Knesset.